cuticle push just to give me a little extra space when I get my e-filing around there. You can see it just pushes it back, just a little bit more area for me to work in. I'm going to use my carbide again. This is my sort of medium grit. This is called a Green Meanie from Atwood, if anyone's interested. The e-file, see that. Remember, mine goes all the way up to 45, so I'm gonna probably, what did we have that yesterday? 35. It was on 30 odd, 30, wasn't it? Yeah, 30, let's try 30 on my one. Alright, so just isolate that one now. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to file. I'm going to thin it down as well. So I'm going to keep the e-file moving. That was a fly. Because I don't want Sharon's nail to get hot, so even though I might want to work on this lifted area at the back a little more, I don't know if we've mentioned before, but there's something that they sometimes call magic number 6, and that is that if I went over the same area 6 times, it's going to generate heat. So if you can keep in your mind 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just in my head, that's what I'm kind of doing all the time, is just keep it moving. And what I'm doing here is just thinning out the whole thing to start with, because I want to thin it out anyway where that French is. So that's then just rotating Sharon's finger all the way from one side to the other. Can we see more now the white area? Our client trapped her finger in the cupboard handle this morning, so that wasn't so good.
It was already lifting, and then I jammed it in the cupboard handle. Went to pull my hand out, and my nail was still stuck in there. So
yeah, as it does. Yeah. So this is a perfect example why you want your clients, can you see that line?
Yeah.
To come back for this fix rather than super glue that back down. What I would do now is concentrate kind of on that line, because if I file this quite thin, the whole thing will just chip off, and I won't have to go over that this area, this lifted area. So I would thin it a little bit so that it does chip off, but then what I can do is just concentrate on this section, making sure it doesn't get too hot. I'm going to leave it just for a second while I do a bit more of this bit, just because I don't want it to get too hot, and then I'm going to come back to it. I don't know if you can see there, just a little tiny dot. That's where I've broken through.
Yeah.
Can you see that, the lifted bit? Which is good. I probably wouldn't go with my bit over that. I'm going to aim for the bits in between, because I don't want to, obviously that's nail through there, and I don't want to, you see that?
So would you hand file the rest, or?
I will show you. If I just get this last little bit down here, I'm pulling Sharon's skin back there as well, so I don't want to get that. Just tickle that last little bit, and I think, oh yeah, what I'll do, I'll just switch this off for a second so I can show you what I would do. I'm going to use an orange wood stick just because it's a little bit softer. If I just tease that, can you see the whole thing just lifts off? So that saves all that filing on top. Okay. So then I would come in with one of my, maybe just a 180. This is a 180-100, but I'm probably just going to use the 180 side and file. I could use my e-file again, but there's such a little amount left that I would then just touch. Can you see how I file right against that bit of lifting? Can you see that okay? I don't want to, a 180 is kind of okay a little bit on a natural nail, so if I do get a natural nail a little bit, it'll be okay. Anything stronger than that, if I was going to use the 100 or an 80 or something like that, I would be absolutely sure then to just file here. Yeah. I'm going to use that 180.
It's a little bit different to
Actually,
gel as well, guys.
A little bit.
Gel's the softer substance too, remember, to work with. Acrylic's a little bit more harder.
If it's too steep, i.e. if this part of the acrylic, this pink acrylic is too thick in that area, it's going to be harder for you to file that down, which is why I wanted to thin it out all over, particularly in that area. You could always go back in with your e-file and just tickle it a little bit more in that area. Can you see the whites now just starting to go? Get that little bit again. And then the 180 as I go over both nail and you see that's nearly gone. Probably zoomed in, it still looks so much messier when it's that big, doesn't it, on the screen? You can see all those little bits just here. I'll get that.
I think that's also a little bit of the nail damage from me jamming it in
When
and
it's
lifting
lifted.
it. Yeah. Yeah, because what happens is it's still attached. It's not actually actively ready to lift.
Yeah.
But it's force lift, so therefore it pulls up those layers. Yeah.
And then I might go over with our either side of this will be fine, and that just re-establishes your seal. When we talk about that, we want a nice smooth seal back to the natural nail between the product and the natural nail. Again, I could take a lot longer doing that, but then I'm going to give this a little scrub fresh. It also helps you see where you're going, because any dust, if there was any little tiny gaps, it will fill with dust as well, so we need to get that out. Thank you, Sharon. Okay, so once it's clean, you can kind of see better that the seal's there. It's just huge on there, obviously. Look, there'd be a teeny little bit maybe. I would even sit and get that out normally, but it's probably like in real time it doesn't look so bad. You happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was, maybe just a tiny bit there. But yeah, as long as you get that lifting out, re-establish your seal, and then you're ready to go with your product again. This one, of course, would need, I could do it with the e-file, but seeing as I've got my hand file out, I'm going to take the shine off that area again and the new growth. Okay. And then we'll move on to this video. Yeah,
Right.
that's not bad. That little bit down this left side, I would just like, no, stop. So I'm just gonna keep going. But yeah, please try and just make sure you've got a good seal and you get that right back. Then I'm gonna turn that over, but you could do the same. You could turn your dust filters once you've done that. Just turn them over, put them back down, and then you've got a nice clean slate. So you've got no
more
dirty.
attractive, especially for your clients sitting
Nice
there
for
as
clients
well.
to see, yeah. Keep everything tidy. Things in your bin. You've got bins next to you now, so we don't want to see it all over your desk. Something that I've also done on these pots, this is what I usually do with my acrylics, is put a little bead on the top rather than you having to read the labels, especially because white and clear can look the same. So I'm going to do, and I'm going to do now. I do it with additives and things as well. If you put black and white on an additive and put that on the lid, you can always see what it looks like on dark and light. Sorry, where my brush is on.
And when adding like glitters and stuff, mixed ratio is 1 to 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 1 part glitter, 10 parts monomer. Polymer.
You're pleased to know the brush has come back from extinction. We're good with the brush. I've got hair in that. Alright, so that was me burping the brush. I should have reminded you about that. Remember, we pop it in, press it down, get all the air bubbles out. Oh, would have been a good example to show that close up actually, wouldn't it? But I am going to do this nail first, and I'm going to do our reverse French, which is what you typically know as putting the pink on first and then filing it.
Can you do it in the 3?
Yes, and I'll do it in 3 beads today. This is then our primer. I'm going to put some of that on too. again, just on the natural nail. So primers and dehydrators can help stop lifting. Can help, not stop altogether, but I gotta pick up smaller beads. Can you see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3. It doesn't work. And I'm going to do it reverse, so I am starting at this end, which is which zone?
3.
Thank you. I'm going to leave it just to settle for a second. We've got the 1, 2, 3 pickup. Usually have 1, 2, 3 on your brush, 1, 2, 3 on the client. And then I can start pressing that around. That's still quite big for a 3 bead, but anyway.
You do your method differently to how I do it.
Do I? You don't have to tell me what you do.
I put
So I
zone
press
2
that.
first.
Oh, I probably would on a normal actually. I'm just blending this out so I don't have any sort of ridges or tucked in areas at this end. So we do a little bit of blending there and then worry about this section mostly. Oh, that's interesting. So Sharon was saying she puts hers in the middle. So you
Yeah,
do 2.
I put zone 2 first and then make
Then-
that smile and then just go back into zone 3 with just that little bit that I need.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think with it being a rebalance, I'm going to put a slightly bigger one now. So this is my 2, of course. I was thinking of doing this whole area in 3 just then. You can turn your brush backwards if you want to just blend that back. Don't want any join lines. I'm just pressing it. We were talking about the belly of the brush. So that's this whole sort of the main area rather than they call it the flags is the very tip of the brush, but. And then what I'm doing there is pulling it towards me to create this new line, which actually needs to be a little bit back from where I am. Let's just say that's how much. Can you see the difference between the pink and the old white? Nice cliff edge. Remember, we want this nice edge to butt up against. Sorry, can you see? Still got a little while to play with it. It's quite cool in the room, so it's gonna set a little slower.
I think NSI is a little bit forgiving with their playing time as well.
That's quite good. I'm going to get you to turn your finger to the side so we can see. Can you see how, doesn't matter about the lump there because obviously this is going to get filed down. Can you see that closer? Good. So we've got this little bit here is going to get filed down. This is definitely, this dip is more, this is where you make your decision of do I add more or do I not need it? I don't need to add more there. I don't want the nail that thick. I'm going to file this down. And I'll definitely be filing that down, of course, but I need this wall to file against and to put my white against. I'm going to let that one dry while we do this one. Because we're doing a French anyway, I'm just going to do, I think, just plain colour. Are we happy with just pink?
Yeah, just do a rebalance in a plain colour,
Just
that's
that
fine.
whole
Yeah.
pink again. We'll just,
Yeah,
for
just
the
do a
ease of use
cover.
today, because you need to do, well, you could do a pink cover. Oh, I was going to go big again. I was going to go with a big bead again. I'll just do 3.
She's doing her
I
advanced
forgot.
techniques.
I'm sorry. I forgot to show you guys that last week.
Beginners.
I know.
Beginners.
So I'm going to start. Oh no. Doesn't really. I don't think it really matters which end you begin. I would normally start the cuticle and work with bigger beads, and you'll do the same eventually. But if you are using 3, do that. Come back. You must always blend that down because while you're concentrating on it, it's setting while you're concentrating on the other end. See, I'm not used to doing it this way.
Are you not?
It's going to be too big. Okay, and then a little flatten all over. Trying to make the, remember the barrel view where I look down the nail. It's a bit of filing space, but if I can try and get you to point up to the camera. Can you see that? You can see where it is. Obviously I've got some filing space on that to do, so we'll take that down before I finish. I'm going to go in with my zone 2. That's still too big. Just let it set for a sec and then blend this down.
And again, she's only really floating on top of it, so don't
Yeah,
put
this
heavy
is a
pressure.
nice, gentle kind of. That's not too bad actually.
As soon as you start dragging your brush into the acrylic, that's when you start get clogging and build up in your brush.
And then just a little one. A bit bigger than that. Just to fill in around this cuticle area. And you're judging that all the time. If I'm decided then just to pop Sharon's finger downwards because, you know, like with your gel, just so it doesn't run into a cuticle area.
You can allow gravity to do the work.
Yeah,
and
you
help
can pop the
guys.
finger down like this and then it will help with that too. So that's pretty good. Alright, so that's kind of how you would do your 3 in the traditional zone 1 first. Would you still do that?
What's that, sorry?
Zone 1 first when you do 3 beads, 2 beads. What do you do?
In reverse, is what you're saying?
In traditional, what I've just done there.
Traditional, I do French first, white, and then I go in and do second zone, third zone.
But if you were doing a full colour like that, full coverage, how would
Yeah,
you do
I
that?
still do go in
1,
yeah,
2, 3.
Yeah, and I just altered my positioning of my brush, so my brush is usually more
Yeah.
holding. When I'm applying it, I apply the bead, and then I tap that way with it
Yeah.
on the angle, so it's
Yeah.
more
Taper
that
down.
that sort of angle, so it's tapered down,
Yeah.
and then flat the bead zone 2, and then my brush
Point
then
up
points
that
down.
way. Yeah. That's a good point. You'll see that in a lot of the textbook style applications when you see pictures and videos that they do angle the brush from the, let's say that was the nail, this is my finger, this is my nail, cuticle, pattern over the top and then blending down again. So you use your brush at different angles. Just give that a good clean again. I'm going to use that for my white, of course, so I'll just pop it aside. And a little bit of filing. So this one's still not going to be quite set, but for now I can isolate this finger and we'll start. So my filing with this was at a 90 degree, I'll get you closer again. 90 degree angle straight across from there and up the sides. This would be the 100 grit, or 80 even sometimes you could use. And you're just trying to perfect that. Okay. Thank you. Alright, just so we've got a nice, yeah. Remember it's further back than the original because the nail's grown out. We want to push it back to where it was. So now my white. Bring these back in. I feel like I needed a bit more liquid on that one. Pinky on the side again for my balance. Remember to use that to help you. That nearly fell off again. Just let it set up for a second. And then I'm just going to use sort of the belly and the point of the brush to push that up into the sides. Can you see? Just pressing it out. I am using my brush this time at an angle, so from the side it's this angle to get this taper. We've got that big wall in the middle that I then will need to taper back down, so then this is coming more tapered. Still not quick, is it?
Just because it's
trying to be
acrylic. Acrylic's just so different, isn't it?
Just going to add a little bit more white of that side. think when I was showing you the side view, I didn't press it up that way. Okay, so now we've got a nice strange kind of pointy from the side. Can you see that? But that's my apex. That'll be kind of where the apex is going to be as well a little bit when I taper that down a little bit. From the top it doesn't look that bad. But this is, I want you to see that because they're going to be normal. Even if you have white spread all over the pink on the top, it's fine because you filed that line in. You know that it's under there somewhere when you file it back out. Right, how are we doing on this one? This one will be dry now. Thank you. Alright, you get the general idea. Sorry, again, you can spend ages cleaning up and making them nice and neat. So I'll take the dust off both of these with some IPA. And of course you'd buff them or top coat them.